All right. Three, two. Welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I'm your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters, Greg Hectus.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, Brad Wren.
I think my teeth are still chattering from running Coronado last night.
Yay, Coronado. David Hall.
Or you watch too many Scooby Doo movies? One of the two.
And back from a long hiatus, Tony Rochette. Welcome back.
I don't know. Grab my knob.
Hey, everybody.
All right. And then our special guest, Chad McNeese. Welcome.
Howdy, howdy.
On today's show, the hardware guru, Chad McNeese, visits the lounge. What happened to separate pace cars for multicast race starts? Multi-class race starts? I actually read that right, by the way. Big updates for the Sim Gaming Expo. The SimiCube 3 Ultimate is here. The FIA is seeking a new sim racing partner. It's week one, and we already have patch notes. And how are NASCAR drivers prepping for Coronado Island?
That's right, Mike. And remember that you can follow along with us on your PC or your mobile device in real time as you listen to the show and see for yourself all the great topics and products we'll discuss by visiting iRacersLounge.com. Select the show notes. We hope to see you there.
Chad McNeese, well, welcome to the show. We've been trying to get you on here for a while because we've been talking up an Excel spreadsheet. Oh, no, it's actually a Google sheet, but it's kind of like an Excel spreadsheet. But boy, we talk about it every show. And so we want to get you on here so you can tell us more about this effort or this project that you do with it. How did it start? Why are you doing it? How much work do you put into it to keep it up to date? That kind of thing. But look, before we get into that, we want to get to know you a little bit. So we're going to go through our usual Q&A. So we'll start with that, and then we'll talk about the spreadsheet. So number one, what brought you to iRacing, and how did you first hear about it? The word iRacing.
So long story, all the way back to about 93, 94 when Papyrus released their first major sim titles. I had the original Indy 500 simulation, but IndyCar was the first one I could really get working on my PC. So from that, the next season they had NASCAR racing come out. So those two titles right there kind of got me started on the whole Papyrus pipeline, essentially. So I pretty much followed all the titles from there on through. iRacing came about through that evolution off of NASCAR Racing 23 when they said that was going to be the end of it. Dave Keimer and the group there decided they were going to build what eventually became iRacing, and I lucked into the Wildfire project. Project Wildfire, I think, was the name. Was one of the things where there were groups of online racers from NASCAR Racing 23, and they said, "Hey, we're working on something new. Do you guys want to get involved?" So I jumped on that, and then ended up landing in the iRacing beta right around 2006.
You're the OG, one of the OG guys.
Yeah, I got the iRacing number is a 5-digit 15 whatever after that. So one of the fairly early ones, not on the ground floor, but pretty darn close.
All right, well, that's cool that you've been around that long. Now, tell us what you run. What do you race when you jump in a car these days? What series are you running?
I love a little bit of everything. So like I've raced all the different categories and stuff, but the consistent ones anymore is I've kind of fallen in love with ARCA, believe it or not. I used to be kind of a long run guy. I love the 87s and that stuff. And didn't like the crash fest that ARCA was, but that's kind of my baby now because it takes a little less time to get into. The races are straightforward with no yellows or anything. So from an oval standpoint, ARCA is my go-to. I still love the 87s and get back to those when I can. And then kind of on the road side, love the endurance stuff. So if I can, I get into longer races. LMP2 is my favorite from the IMSA side. The other cars I really love is the Mustang FR500S. That was one of my favorites to run with the small group there. It was a real tiny group there towards the end before they switched the car to the GT4. But I love the manual cars in particular on road racing. So those are kind of my two go-tos, but I love dirt road, rallycross, and trucks are also a big blast.
All right. Well, I love the versatility that you mentioned. I've been trying to become more versatile myself, running different stuff. Um, talk now. Look, you're the hardware guru, as they say. But very curious. What do you actually own? What do you actually run as far as wheels, pedals? Kind of give us a short list of your equipment.
Sure. Right now, I've just made a recent switch to the Simagic Evo Ultra base. That's been a step up evolution from the Evo Pro before that, and the Simagic Alpha, which is what I started back on a couple years ago. So just kind of been working my way up the ladder there, and went for the Ultra just because I could, and it was not so much a FOMO, but I was kind of curious on the difference there. And then I've got a mix of the Simagic wheels, the GT Neo, their GTS small round wheel, a couple of their Neo X hubs with some different wheels on there, and then just a plain wheel for my drifting stuff. So try and do a little bit of everything along with my other stuff. I've got three different inputs as far as I've got a H pattern shifter, the SimVertex V7, the Hughes Inkfeld Mini Sequential for those cars there, and then a handbrake for doing rallycross and drift. Pedals, I recently got the Simagic P700s, which are great for a budget pedal, and those replaced Fanatec CSL Elite V2, I believe. So that's kind of the bulk of it, and all this is in a rig metal flagship rig, 160 millimeter profile with all of that on there.
Rig metal. You're the first guy I know that's got a rig metal, but I've always been
Okay.
real keen on those. You like it?
Yeah, it's bang for buck. It beat out ASR and Track Racer for the stuff I was looking for. I also like a couple of the details with how the wheel deck mounts on there. I've got it set up with a couple of quick release deals so I can slide the wheel forwards and backwards 2 inches. So if I want to get a nice tight, close NASCAR deal with my oversized wheel there, or if I want to stretch the wheel out a little bit, I can move that around. So really fine tune. Plus the fact that some of my wheels have different depth on the spacer. So if I want to get that in there, it's nice to be able to just quick flip a couple wrenches and slide that forwards and backwards.
Man, that's something I'm totally missing out on. I that's going to be a future upgrade where I can have it move like you said. I've seen several recently that are pretty nice the way they look. Um, look, let's go back in time. You mentioned Project before iRacing. Uh, what was your hardware then?
So when I first started into all of that stuff, I was probably running the Thomas Super Wheel, their
Yep.
steering
Had
wheel
one.
and pedals. Yes, they're up in the attic, so I don't know what to do with them. I
I
can't get rid of it.
I trashed mine when we moved finally in
Uh,
2022.
Yeah, I still got it. I put many, many miles on that. Before that was a cheesy Thrustmaster or Logic. Well, it was a Thrustmaster wheel combo that I got for Christmas back in like '99, packaged with NASCAR racing. So I got a lot of years out of that. Finally jumped to the Thomas, which was like one of the cat's meows. The only thing better at that time was the ECCI, which I couldn't afford. But yeah, I drove the heck out of that. And then just before, or maybe it was right after getting into, yeah, it was right after getting into the beta, the Logitech G25 force feedback dropped. And so I snapped one of those up right away and fell in love with force feedback at that point. And I ran that all the way until November 23.
Well, you got your use out of it. Yep.
Yeah.
What about visually? What do you got a monitor, VR? How many?
So right now I'm running, my primary is VR. I just love that as far as all the racing. So I do as much as I can in that. It's an old Oculus Rift S, which works good. It's kind of low demand, low res. So it's not great with the screen door effect, but pretty flawless as far as use. Doesn't give me too many glitches. As far as horsepower demand. And then when I'm doing testing or other stuff, have friends over, I've got a 34-inch ultra wide. So it does just enough that I can get by with testing and even just some regular play racing. But when I get serious, I want to throw the VR on. And then above that, I've just got a 24-inch spare for throwing side apps and stuff on when I'm running the monitor or doing things like Discord and Myra app, any of that kind of stuff.
All right. And then back to racing. Are you part of a team or participate in a league, or is it just official?
Just officials for the most part. Yep. I haven't done a league in a long time. So I've kind of dabbled with a few friends and maybe some solo hosted sessions, but nothing regular.
And the last question was, what is your most memorable iRacing moment so far?
Probably got two. One of them's kind of the marquee that I think everybody who races long enough eventually ends up in a situation where they're racing with a pro. And this was back in the beta days still, so 2007-ish or something. And I'm racing at Laguna Seca in the Solstice was the car we were just beating the heck out of back then. And so, see in the lobby there, Dale Jr. shows up, and sure enough, he qualifies ahead of me. He was, I think, qualified third. I qualified fifth, and absolutely terrified that I was going to go into the hairpin there, turn two essentially at there, and run him over and then wreck him and just feel like an idiot. But held it together there, raced a whole bunch, and then we settled in. And I had a run on him up the hill about 5 times in a row, and he wouldn't back off. So I just kept going and going, and I just could not believe how just ruthless and was not willing to back off. So it was a pretty fun experience when I finally got around him clean and then finished the race ahead of him.
Yeah, it's so satisfying. Yeah, to maybe wreck the director of iRacing. Yeah. So you said two moments.
Well, the other one's kind of just a big one. So on this whole journey back in '99, I met a guy here in town named Barrett, and we're cycling buddies. Actually, is how we met. But we found out we both were into sim racing at that time, and he has pretty much paralleled me, and I've paralleled him all the way through this journey. So we've been racing together for 25 plus years or whatever. And there are so many memories I have with him and I on track. The very first ones is we used to grab our two PCs. I'd pull mine out of my apartment, go meet him at his place here in town. We'd actually set up on his kitchen table. This was with like NASCAR 99. Run the old cable with the LPT port and then race heads up just right at the kitchen table there. And that was one of the best ones with terrible gear. He had all DIY stuff that he had repurposed off a pole position machine, and I had my super low buck Thrustmaster at the time that had barely like 100 degrees steering input and terrible pedals.
So Brad, title idea, LAN party.
There you go.
All right, let's talk Google Sheet. Tell us about this project and what started this. Was it a personal journey, and then you decided to share it, at least amongst our listeners? I mean, are you sharing it elsewhere? Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, so exactly that personal journey. So like Brad, I raced all the way through, did the beta and everything up to 2008, and then kind of needed to take a break from it. So I started kind of switch gears into cycling. Spent 15 years away and decided, along with my friend Barrett, we were going to get back into iRacing. So late 2023, got into it, dusted off all the old gear, and decided I wanted to upgrade. And so I started researching, throwing everything I could in there, the Fanatec, the Moses, all that kind of stuff. So it was just, I'm the kind of person who builds a spreadsheet for just about anything I shop for that's more than about $100 purchase. So started that research there, looking at every bundle I could, and the sheet kind of grew over time as I got to the point of buying early 24. And from there, I just kind of kept it up a little bit for fun because I kept seeing stuff, and I'd hear, a question on a Discord or somewhere once in a while. Hey, I'm looking at these two things. What should I go for? And I would just show a quick screenshot of my personal sheet at that time before I'd even shared it. And people, in some cases, the thing was I would try and include as many options as possible just to confuse the issue since I'm kind of indecisive. But I like having all the options so I don't miss something. So that's kind of what I did with that sheet. People, you say, hey, I want to buy pedals. And you see 2 or 3 options, like the same ones every time. But sometimes you get some really good options that get overlooked. And so that's when I kind of started sharing screenshots. Eventually, enough people said, hey, where'd you get that from? And I said, well, it's my own sheet. So finally decided to just post it publicly and then just start dropping links so people could get to it.
So to give the listeners an insight here, when I went to buy my DDU, my baby right here, my Sim Sport Gadget DDU 8, I started with Chad McNeese's spreadsheet, and I went to your DDU tab, and I just literally look, because money wasn't an object for me. It was about what it looked like. And so I literally opened every single link that you had there for DDUs. I don't know, maybe a dozen. And I just started closing tabs. Oh no, I don't like this one. Close tab. Oh, I don't like this one. Close. And I narrow it down. Oh, I got 2 here I like. Ooh, they're guess what? They're the most expensive. That's kind of how I roll. But but look, your spreadsheet gave me insight into DDUs I haven't even considered at that moment. Oh, I didn't know about this. Oh, this is something I haven't seen. And look, I talk about sim hardware every week. I know as much as anybody. And so it was insightful for me, and it helped me feel like I made an informed decision because I was literally comparing all the products in the category at once.
Yeah, that was the goal for me, is just to try and start with that big picture, whether it's, one price range to another. If you knew kind of where you wanted to spend, you can zero in there and quickly narrow down your options. Like you say, throw it out for whatever reason, color, display, any of that kind of stuff there. Brand you don't necessarily like, but makes it really easy. Like you say, I hold the control key down and I just click links and bam, I got a dozen tabs open and you can quickly bounce through them. So I try and keep those all live. That's one of the maintenance things there. But yeah, it just makes it easy so you can land on the product page, get more info than any of the shorthand stuff that I might jot down just for quick ideas. But
So at this point, I assume you're going to continuing to update it. How much time and hours do you spend a week on this?
I would guess a minimum, probably an hour up to 3, depending on what's going on there. A lot of it depends on whether I'm just happen to be poking around looking at stuff. Sometimes I'm just doing research for the sake of curiosity. Your guys' show is amazing as far as, like, you talk about stuff you don't normally see. You're clearly plugged into some channels that I don't follow. So there's new products, wheels, whatever else that pop up that I've never even heard of, like you. So I quickly follow that link and then decide if it's something that needs to go on the list, and then I add it. So I've got that and other social media stuff where I see those things pop up and follow a few of the big brands. So their announcements come through. But yeah, it's just a matter of I try and kind of, again, capture as much as I can within reason. I do a little bit of pruning as far as some of the real super low key stuff, some of the Etsy type real small production things I don't always get in there. But anything from the big manufacturers and even like the second and third tier groups of builders, I try and get in there.
Well, look, on the major purchases, I mean, with DDU is kind of a limited category, but with you need a wheelbase or pedals, man, it's really nice to, oh, I'm looking at this price point. There's these five in the price point, or I want this Newton meter from this Newton meter. Oh, there's three to choose from. And so you can really narrow it down because you have the different columns with different info. But look, what a great resource, Chad. We're so happy to have you on the show, and thanks for coming.
Yeah, you guys are welcome. Thank you so much. It's quite an honor.
Well, let's go through the topics. David.
So you mentioned the old wheel you ran back in the old days. Well, look at what old Will Ty's still running. Ty Majeski, San Diego. He's been practicing on his G27 with his laptop sitting on top of duct tape.
FOV police going to jump in on that?
Yeah, that's pretty much how he's raced his entire career.
No, wait a minute. The duct tape rolls underneath the laptop is for FOV. That's to get it up high enough so it's
Oh,
sitting
there
on
you
his
go.
eyeball.
No, it's to make sure he can cool the laptop.
Well, it also makes it so he can see the screen and it's not right in front of the wheel.
What's funny, I just gave away my original G27 to a maintenance guy at my apartment building, to his son. He's going to be a new iRacer, and it was kind of neat to hand that down to somebody, and they're going to get good use of it. But yeah, this is the same wheel.
And just a note, we've said this before, Ty Majeski is a special talent. Don't go think that you're going to do as good on a G27, okay?
He's a 10,000 I rating twice.
There are some people who can just get around, but there are some cases where poor equipment can make a mediocre driver even more mediocre.
This post is all about practicing for Coronado Island this weekend's racing, and Ty and Raja. We got a video from Raja Karuth here doing laps. Steve Letarte and SVG break it down, for the NBC broadcast, and SVG describes the lap. They talk about getting a little airborne, coming out of turn one to that little downhill. And so a lot of drivers getting laps, guys. I saw Connor Zilich said he's done a bunch of iRacing, and so did SVG.
I really want to see how they handle that bump after turn one, because I'll go ahead and coast over it. I don't stay on the gas over it, because if you land wrong, you're not going to make the next corner.
It's going to be an interesting weekend, that's for certain. That's all I can say. After running last night, and I was mentally drained after 37 laps, and I wasn't doing it for real.
Yeah, it's an interesting track. After running it for that long race. I do have to say, kudos to iRacing. It looks visually outstanding. I don't see mistakes. I don't see the usual, people floating in the air or, cones halfway in the cement. Everything visually is just popping. And they did well. And to think that they designed this for NASCAR. NASCAR is looking at this and building the track based off this digital track. It's pretty cool how it all works.
Now, I'm usually about a day behind on the Dell Jr. podcast. I tend to listen to him on the road on the day after. And today, SVG and Connor Ziliotz were his interview guests. And I believe it was Connor said that iRacing's track data was more up to date than some of the simulators.
Yep. He was pretty adamant about that. So I think most have gotten most of their laps. On iRacing, there is the teams have the data in the big one, but again, I think iRacing is probably going to be closer. And I think he was talking to visually wise. iRacing was a lot closer than what it's probably going to be.
Well, and then visually they need that though, Brad, because they're looking for brake markers. Oh, I need at the aircraft carrier, I have to slow it way down and do a hard lap.
Yeah, I mean, again, the biggest thing is going to be what's the grip level is going to be like and whatnot. That's what they'll figure out when they get there. But it's just from a reference standpoint and visually, you have an idea of how the track flows, and where you need to position the car. So, on the script, we put the link, I put just the X post, but if you go to NASCAR's YouTube channel, SVG and Letarte break the entire lap down, and it's really interesting just to listen to the way that SVG breaks the sections down, talks about, setting up for corners and some of the concerns that he's got. Just his intelligence is just stupid when it comes to racing.
Is there any way he's not going to win this race? I mean,
Unless somebody wrecks him, yeah, he's got it.
right.
I just want to give props to the art team for the background and everything that's in that background of that track. From the Ospreys to the fighter jets to the aircraft carrier, from all the buildings, it's gorgeous.
It's really cool coming out of turn 2 and just looking at a row of F-18s as you're coming up to 3.
Maybe that's why guys are missing the corner last night.
Yeah, and what a neat promotion for the military in general, to promote enrollment in the military. When you put a NASCAR product on TV and you got fans coming out and they can walk right up to these F-18s and these missiles and different things they have laying around, it really will inspire the youth, I would think. And I kind of hope that this continues and it's not just a one-off.
All right, we had a patch come out. They put this one out pretty quick. At a glance, a couple of the big things that I think we would want to cover are the fact that they've added damage reports to a higher level of priority in messages. We were running into issues at Pocono after the patch with it not giving you damage reports while you were under yellow, and then we'd go green, and then it would suddenly say there's no damage. So I guess that's fixed. But we haven't been under yellow this week, so I don't know.
I know I kept spamming the button last Friday, and I no damage report anywhere.
You could hit it, and then you get it about a minute later sometimes.
And for the most part, it would only work under green.
Yeah, so this is more of just kind of the cleanup that we typically get after build week. So, some more adjustments to the TC and the GT3s. It's a little bit of artwork fix here or there. Like David said, the spotter crew chief fixed some of that, and then some user interface stuff as well. So nothing huge. I'm sure we'll get a couple more weeks into it, and we'll probably get another update that'll fix something that we probably don't even know is broken yet.
Well, that one brake marker at the new track Coronado in the pink section, they had the 3-2-1 in the wrong place, and they did fix that. I saw they fixed it in the patch. But the original track they put out, the 3-2-1 was too far down, and if you tried to brake at the 3, you would miss the corner.
But that was fixed as of the race, wasn't it? I didn't notice it moving
Yeah, it got fixed in
Yeah.
this patch. Yeah.
because that maybe that's why I could drive a little bit deeper into the 3. Okay.
Because
I
they
was
fixed those markers. You didn't
okay.
notice?
Um, I did notice that I was getting closer to the 3 than I was before because the visual mark, according to the Ryko video, was a certain place where the angle of the fence changed. Is what I was originally using. And now that you mentioned it, I wasn't watching that anymore. I was lifting just a little bit before the 3.
Look, I'm going to digress a little bit. So when they put that track out originally with the build, how can a brake marker be that wrong? Doesn't anybody in iRacing run the track just once before they put it out? I mean, you would just run it once and realize, oh, I just drove past this corner because the brake markers are wrong. I mean, we
Well,
all
and
knew it instantly. The first lap we did, we knew there was a problem.
there's a lot of places in cup cars where you have to lift way before the brake marker anyway. So that could be the reason
I'm just
that it
surprised they
doesn't grab
missed
your
that.
attention.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, we talk. I mean, they missed the flagger, they missed this, they missed that. There's floating stuff. There's floating that. I mean, that's every track release. It seems like something's wrong. It is. Look, it is what it is. The amount of objects that are in this track alone is huge.
Yep.
Well, it wasn't the only new track to come out, or at least redone track. We also had Laguna Seca come out. Haven't been on there yet, but we do have a video from iRacing on YouTube with, I guess it's going to be a lap through the track in an open wheel car.
Yeah, it was nice to see it updated. You know, some of the things I was looking for was some of the runoff areas that were added a few years ago. So that's gonna be nice. I mean, the left-hander, when you go an uphill before the corkscrew, has about a car width of runoff now, as opposed to just plowing off into the sand. I'm curious to get out and try to see what track limits are like too. So, but I haven't had a chance to turn any laps yet.
I still see on social media people not happy about, I used to have Laguna Seca, now they want me to buy it. You know, kind of
Yeah,
noise.
the forums, it's just like just get over it, guys. It's absolutely stupid.
All right, are we looking at evidence of cheating here, Mike?
Well, we saw this on Twitter or X this week, and I put it in our chat, our group chat, and we debated about what are we looking at because it is in Spanish and we can get an English translation and this and that. But this guy said he saw this on Instagram, he got a video of it, and he put it up. And it's a guy at the, what is it, the centipedal track where it's just a circle and you go in circles. And he's using a controller and he's got this software telemetry thing going on the screen, and it appears like he's turning on the controller. Now you can see the steering wheel on iRacing of the hands on the steering wheel moving, and you could see that the software is auto correcting his steering, because you can see the steering wheel on screen doing something different than he was doing with the controller. And so he was calling it, what was he calling it? Oversteer, anti-oversteer or something like that. So what do you guys think? Is this a hack? The whole idea, he put it on Twitter, was he tagged iRacing and said, "Hey, I found this on Instagram. I don't know if this is already covered in the anti-cheat code, because what is seen in the video is certainly worrying for the community."
Well, I think we've all been in a race with somebody that we know has been on a controller. So honestly, if this make them a little more stable, it may not be such a bad thing.
I don't think he's concerned about a person on a controller using it, but having that software also be available for somebody on a wheel.
The anti-oversteer or auto oversteer or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But can you imagine? Okay, so I'm steering my wheel. The software program that I have running sees I'm oversteering the car and it corrects my input for me automatically. That's what I
What-
think it is.
Don't we have steering help already in the lower classes?
We do, and also if you think about how a next gen handles, I know it may be a difference with sports cars, but generally, unless it's perfect, you're going to end up in the wall with an overcorrect.
Oh, here's what he calls it: gamepad counter steer assist. Continuously auto calibrates itself per car every time control is lost with a deep slider spin. So
It's gray area.
tag at iRacing. Look, with AI coming, guys, anybody can talk to AI and make an app these days. And
Yeah.
so I think iRacing really needs to be on top of this. That they need to, and this is something that they can't monitor in sim. This is a third party app running, and it's just changing the steering controller. So I don't know. You would have to be done in the anti cheat somehow.
Either anti-cheat or they can see the telemetry and they could probably have their own AI watching for this
They need that.
kind of like if typing a student's paper into chat GTP and saying, did you write this or did the student? What do we got at Turn Zero Racing or Sim Racing?
Well, I got an Instagram post here from Tyler Hicks.6. So this says he went to the soft opening of Turn Zero Sim Racing, which is in California. I can't even say that, whatever that word is.
Encinitas.
Encinitas, there we go. So looks like it's right behind the beer garden. So that was, I guess, 612. So nice looking place. Got some rigs and nice open area. So yeah, I mean, look, we continue to see these things come open. I'm shocked at how many there are that continue just to kind of pop up around the country. What started out as one or two, and I think we even talked about it, it's like, man, will these things even survive? And now we've got, there's multiple openings. It seems like at least a month, every month we're seeing multiple openings.
These guys have a rig with the belt tensioner system running.
Well, I've just monitor. The rig and the monitors. The rig is APAV, it's motion, it's like you said, belt tensioner, Sparco seat, SemiCube 3 base, uh, really nice Gomez wheel. I mean, he's got really high end stuff. And how many rigs do you count? Maybe 4 or 5? Pretty cool.
Yeah, but I don't know, did anybody see a bar or stuff like that? We discussed that that's kind of the way you have to end up making these work.
They did have
Right.
some bar tables in the area.
Look,
So
I'm big on sim racing, but I wouldn't put money into one of these things. I think it'll be a ghost town. I hate to say that, but it's, that's how I feel. But because it's expensive. I mean, I could see a sim racer going in there once in a while to try it, kind of thing, but not on the regular basis like they really need to make a living.
No, I mean, again, the goal is to grab people that don't do this. So that's why, if you've got a bar, you got food and you do different stuff. I mean, it's trying to lure people into doing something that don't normally do it anyway. Yeah, I'm not going to go. I mean, when we went to Chicago, we did it. What did we do? We went to blow off and have a good time. That's why we went. We're all sim racers, but we went to have a good time, have a drink, get on the rigs. We had a little competition, but
it was definitely still nice to beat the Apex guys, though.
yes, it was.
It was, look, the right setting, I think it can be a good business. Like you said, with food and beverage, I think makes a big difference. If they can attract in like a business clientele, hey, we're going to have a work party. We're going to have a, Friday after work, all the people from the office come in and they rent the place out or something.
Team building.
Team building. There you go.
Next is a quick X post from iRacing. See, it's numbers for season 2. They had let me go ahead and click on it so I can see all of them because it was kind of zoomed out. 39, almost 40,000 unranked races, 460,000 ranked races, 156,000 hosted events, 654,000 total events, 284,000 unique drivers, 9.57 total drivers. 3.7 million hours of racing, 180 million laps complete. 385 million miles.
Is the 283 is that subscribers or is that people that actually raced?
I believe that's subscribers that actually raced.
It'll probably yeah. It
Right.
wouldn't if it just has it would be whoever paid.
Well, the 9.5 million, if I race 5 times, I'm counted in there 5 times. The 2.83 million, if I race 20 times, I'm counted once.
That's what that's what I'm saying. The 283 is. I'm wondering if it's just more of a
It's probably
yeah.
it's active subscriptions that
Yeah.
that raced in the
that
season.
participated. Yeah.
Yeah.
So last we heard, I think which was 250,000 subscribers. To me, this reads as 283,000 active subscribers that raced during season 2. So obviously the subscriber count is above 283. We're probably at 300 now.
They don't release that number very often to know
No.
it anyways, do they?
Now look, you all got your own individual season 2 stats if you open the iRacing app, profile, season 2 recap. Now mine, I like to show off, and I think I was the only one in our chat this week that showed mine off. Nobody else put theirs up. But mine shows 15 wins out of 58 starts. That's a 25% win percentage. Like I'm just on fire right now with winning.
All right, Greg, who's got the more sorry stats, you or me? I only have 8 starts.
I think I have more, but I'm not racing much recently. Actually, in season two, I probably have none, very little.
I show 11 starts because it doesn't count NIS, which is ridiculous.
Isn't that silly? So I should have one more win. Yeah.
I don't feel so bad then.
All
It
right.
does show that a C Open doesn't count as season 2 though.
Yeah, I don't think C or B counts either. I think the C and B all run season 1 because it's a full one season instead of split into quarters.
Oh my God, it's 2026. We got to have a way to have stats that are correct. How can they even publish these numbers without those series included? This boils my blood. Have
That's it.
AI do it or something.
That's it. I'm gonna unfollow iRacing.
Do you follow Matt though, Brad?
Yeah. So we got a little. I guess this is probably a Twitch post, but Matt having a conversation. I'm really not sure who it was he was talking to, but the question was, "What's up with the multiple pace cars for multi-class starts?" And I guess it's still soon. Whoever they was talking to is talking maybe week 2, something like that. They're going to plan to do an eye-tested event. So at least we're not having to wait till season 4, it sounds like. But I really thought that we'd have seen an eye-tested event last week during build week. That's when I really thought we would have seen it. And, my thought was that we'd see that. It'd run for 3 or 4 days. They'd figure it out, and then it would have been released, with the build, or, would have been dropped in the patch on Monday. But not so much. So hopefully, good old iRacing soon.
Yeah, 2 weeks. I mean, that's basically what he said, within a couple weeks.
It's not unprecedented either. They've had other things that
Yeah,
they've
it's
put out in the
not.
middle of seasons. A little side note: Matt was in both the last 2 Pocono races that I was in, and somebody said hi to him, and he immediately followed up by giving a shout out to the podcast. So,
Well, of course he did. He's a good guy.
he's a good guy, and I believe he's going to be at Chicago.
Yeah, he will
Yeah.
be. I ran
Yeah,
into
he was
Matt
announced.
I ran into Matt in Charlotte. And we talked for a few minutes.
All right, Tony, you should be nice and warmed up now. Why don't you tell us about the side-by-side racing on the next topic?
Oh boy, give me rain and road cars. Oh, it looks like I'll turn my damn audio down here. Let's prepare for that one. All right, we got a couple of road cars racing in the rain here, and was that Road America?
Yep.
Oh man, I got that right. Yeah, pretty pretty good racing, nose to tail, 3 cars there, and they look like they finished pretty close.
It
Side
just
by side.
reminds me that we have rain. I totally had forgotten about it. Like, yeah, I don't see rain very often. Maybe I should try to run the Rainmaster once in a while.
They finish side by side, photo finish.
Now, I can assure you, if you're going to run the 6 hours of the Glen, we're probably going to have rain. So
Too much
Yeah, that
rain?
was
Have they fixed that where it's not monsoon like, or
not really no.
we'll find out.
we'll find out. Okay.
In the majors race, the split above us, they set it by forecast instead of doing specific. It's going to rain this hour and such, and they set it basically really low percentages, especially in the lower splits. And our split, we stayed dry the whole time. The split above us was wet the whole time, when it was like 7% chance of rain. So, yikes.
iRacing is just as accurate as the weatherman.
So here's a question for our guest: are you afraid of heights?
I have a little bit. That looks like a pretty wild rig there. That's a very creative use of space. I'll say that.
So tell us about it. For our audio listeners, Chad, describe what you see.
So I don't know exactly where this is, but it almost looks like the kind of thing it could darn near be in a dorm room. Probably isn't, but somebody has decided to take a room. Looks like a bunch of 4x4s and build an elevated platform, and then put a rig way up high. The ceiling must be 10 feet or something like that, because I got a full-blown 160 mil rig with triples sitting on top of this thing. So looks like they've got space underneath for an office or whatever. So pretty effective use of space.
Where's the ladder?
Yeah, I don't know where you get up.
How do you
They
get
got
up?
a
No,
hole in
wait.
the wall for the computer, it looks like, too, or something
That's what
over
I was
there.
gonna say. The hole in the wall, they like cut into the drywall and made it like a little enclave or something in the wall. And it looks like the computer's sitting there. I'm like, is that a fire hazard, I wonder? Or
Is it me or does the optics look weird on that? Because you look at the books that are in the bookshelf and compare that to the size of the rig. It looks like a mini rig.
Yeah, it looks tiny. It almost looks like AI generated. Or
maybe
something.
it's AI we're looking at. AI slop, as they say. Not for me. I mean, you can look at the metal bracket that attaches the 2x4 to the wall. It almost like he had to put two up there just because the first one wouldn't hold it, kind of thing.
Next motion.
See myself getting mad.
Could you imagine being up there in that rig when the seat fell out? Like the one guy who didn't tighten his seat, and he's up there on top of that. And not only does he fall out of the rig, but he falls half a story.
He falls down on the floor and the rig falls on top of it.
Oh,
What if you
Have a drunken session and fall off.
David? Now you're a flight guy. What if you had that up there? Would you have an ejection seat if it was going to fall apart and just shoot out?
well, you don't really just want to slam your head into the ceiling. You'll end up
so what
just-
you're
you'll end
saying?
up- what I'm saying is you'll end up just like Goose.
So you need a skylight, is what you're saying, in the ceiling that pops out when you fly up.
Little bungee cord to simulate parachuting.
He's hanging from the ceiling.
The problem is, if Mike was in there, he wouldn't fall out. The rig would fall with him because he's strapped in.
But
Safety first.
wouldn't Mike need another dining room for his, like an upper dining room then for Mike's rig?
He's just going to rent the apartment above and cut the floor out.
Vaulted ceiling.
All right. Speaking of customization of certain plans, you can now customize the series for the rules that they would have in sports cars. Christian Chandler has a forum post giving us a quick reference guide to where you can fuel and tire at the same time and where you can't.
Yeah, this is cool. So my hope is, when Majors 24 runs next year, they use the default global, because in WEC you have to fuel first before you do tires. The amount of opportunity that gives you to adjust your race strategy is huge, and goes back to the way it was in IMSA before you could do combined fueling and tires. So that I look forward to.
I just saw a video. I did make the script that was complaining about the lack of fuel strategy in IMSA because of just what you said. And he was begging iRacing, please, let's do the fuel and tires separately. But look, here's Christian Challenger saying this is how we're going to do it. We're going to follow what the real series does.
Yeah, I want them to follow the real series. I mean, IMSA you fuel and tires same time, but WEC you do not. So um, I'm just saying it's neat because it gives options now. You know, there's it gives if you're setting up a hosted event to do something, you've got options as opposed to just everything running the same way. So yeah, IMSA fuel tires simultaneously. NEC, you're going to fuel tires simultaneously as well. But again, there's adjustments to the fuel fill rate. And then with DTM, you're going to get fuel then tires. But then your tires going to be 3 times the normal rate. So it's neat. I'm glad to see some of this stuff coming.
So you mentioned Mech. Mech does both wet tracks and IMSA tracks.
Well,
So what do you think about that?
so last year Mech was geared more towards WAC. This year they tried to take more of an IMSA approach to it. So I would hope. Now I don't know the second season this year. That's later this year. I don't know what that's going to mimic. So maybe we get more of a WEC style, and we get some deviation in the pitting. Would be good.
It would be interesting if it just depended on which track it was at, if it was an American track or a European track. All right, Mike, FIA is one of your favorite organizations, isn't it?
Well, I like that they get involved in sim racing, and they're certainly doing that. I think they're actually putting their claws into it so they can monetize it some way, to be honest. But they did launch officially, uh, formally seeking esports partners for officially sanctioned sim racing championships. The FIA has launched a formal call to proposal seeking potential new sim racing partners and organizations to further develop its global esports strategies. Now, look, obviously, Verizon, iRacing is obviously involved with the F4, with the FIA esports, and so forth. Um, is this them wanting to get away from iRacing and maybe go to another title, or maybe try to get some more money for their FIA branding? I mean, what is happening here? What do you think?
So I think it was it 24 they released the FIA some esports regulations and stuff, and then I think they tried to do some stuff with gosh, what was it? It's one of the platforms that's almost defunct now. It didn't was it Rensport didn't work out quite right. So I know that iRacing did some stuff with them because they were at the was it last year? They were somewhere in the Middle East is wherever they had the championship at. I know iRacing was there. So look, I think it's a great opportunity for iRacing to get involved. I mean, there's no other sim that's going to be able to I think could be is as structured as you need if you're going to try to do something like this.
And you don't think they're not just thinking F1, they're thinking anything FIA, right?
Yeah, I mean I think they currently have yeah, they've got a global rally tour going on right now, which I think is probably used, and I'm guessing that's of course a rally. Um, but no, yeah, I mean, I would not imagine that would be strictly F1. FIA is, it's a governing body. I mean, they touch on everything from WEC to I mean, most global motorsports, especially in Europe, are covered under the FIA.
All right, we'll see how that plays out.
So, Greg, do you think you're inactive enough right now that we could start calling you a noob again?
I was wondering how you're going to transition that one, but good one. No, but it's actually sparked my interest here because I've been following. She kind of just randomly showed up, obviously because it's iRacing related on my page. But on X or Twitter here, you got Julia Cassan. I apologize. She first posted on it on the 13th here. It says, I'm trying iRacing. I don't drive in real life. I know I'm bad and slow, but the fact that I used a new wheel and pedals and finished a lap without going off track after many tries during my first day. Manual shifting with no racing line made me happy. This game isn't easy. So I was kind of just interested in this fact. Is it's nice to see some new blood in iRacing. It's good to see, obviously, um, anybody trying iRacing, but I was interested to see how the reaction to on Twitter was going to be. I wanted to see what her comments were. You know how bad Twitter can be sometimes, and when someone's trying to do something. But I was actually pretty proud of the committee and people that were part of iRacing for the encouragement and helping her get through um, day by day, because she's been posting almost every day, multiple times, and all this stuff. It's actually been really refreshing to see it pop up every day.
I remember we enjoyed the British lady that came up. Kind of disappeared, but was streaming for a while. She came on the show. Now I can't believe I even can't remember her name. But it's always
Anna?
fun. Was it?
Anna?
Yeah. But it's always fun to see somebody at the start, because that's when you see the most gains. You know. Now we're like, oh God, can I get a tenth faster? But you go from when you go from absolute beginner, that's when you see the most obvious progress. So that can make watching somebody start from scratch entertaining.
Well, and I like that she's using AI to, you know, have some fun. She doesn't have to go in and risk racing or feeling bad about crashing people. People in the chat or in her mentions were commenting on, you know, try practice, try this, try that. So you can follow someone around, learn faster from, you know, to get faster by learning some other people's lines. And she's been, you know, in and out of all these things. And I just like these kind of stories because it's, you know, it's hooked her, and she's been on every day. I'm curious why she doesn't drive in real life. Maybe she's not old enough, whatever. But maybe this may encourage her to get her license too, if she's old enough.
So if you look at her profile, she's actually a popular streamer. Looks like she plays Spirit Crossing. And there was another one, Guild Wars. She plays the Guild Wars.
Do you get any
And
kind of indication to what country she lives in?
no, I haven't seen that. But it's funny as you're scrolling her feed, she's playing all these other games, like I mentioned, like Mario Kart, different things. And all of a sudden, every video is iRacing, 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 iRacing. So she's hooked.
So there are a couple of theories on night driving. A lot of European countries, you can't drive till you're 18 over 16. Um, and generationally, kids these days just don't care about driving as much.
True.
Because everything's at the push of a button. They don't feel the need to get in the car and go somewhere.
Well, apparently she's been streaming since 2009, and she's from Italy.
Good research, Tony.
Look at that.
All right. Next up, we're going to cover the Coke race. And I don't think we would consider this a surprise winner, Mike.
Bobby Zielinski, yeah, getting it done. I think he had pole position too. He led 20 of 20 laps. No mistakes. Look, if you track position is king at a track like this for sure.
Yeah, but
And
Bobby is the road course guy in Coke Series.
but look, Steven Wilson kept him honest. He would finished only 2 seconds back. Vicente Salas was 9.6 seconds. Then Tucker Minner, and then Casey Kerwin to round out the top five. I didn't get to watch the race. I saw some highlights and different things. I think I saw Garrett Baines he wrecked out before the turn one of lap
Yeah,
one. Oh
yeah, I
my
saw that.
God.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, I think it was a fairly clean race. I didn't see much in the highlights I saw. So
When we ran NIS, it was a fairly clean race in my split anyway. I was shocked. I was expecting more carnage, even in the Coke race. I think I was expecting more carnage.
I mean, we had some in ours, but there was a lot of guys just kind of taking themselves out. You know, miss a braking point and plow it into the tire barriers and blow a motor, end up with a meatball, stuff like that.
There was no forgiveness. So once you were out, you were out. So the track would clean itself off, and there was also just more incentive not to drive on the edge and and overcook it because I know I ran on Wednesday night and there was times I was closing in on the guy in front of me, and I'm sure I could have started looking for that extra umph to start really competing with him, but it was I just tried to stay in the I'm not going to overdrive it and put it in the wall mentality.
And you finished the race because of that. If you probably would have tried to pass him, you would have wrecked.
Yeah, and we were running about the same pace the whole night. He creeped ahead of me a little towards the end, but when I had 30 seconds behind me, and I actually just kind of started taking it easy, and it was a fatiguing race. Okay, I gotta send this one to one of the daddies. So, Brad,
Yeah, I
are you
figured. Yeah, well,
actually? We now have a new T-shirt you need to get, and it says "iRacing Daddy."
well, so we got an article here from Box of Slap. Busy dads are quietly transforming sim racing forever. So interesting article. I think we shared this I think I shared this with about a week ago or so in our chat. And I forgot. I meant to put it on the script last week, and I just flat out forgot. But the article talks about what happens at nights. Guys put their kids to sleep. Long work day and whatnot, and then kind of slips away and jumps into the rig. So I think I shared with you guys. I've tried to explain to my wife why I do this. Look, I've been sim racing since 1998. I was a sim racer before we had kids. I sim raced the entire time the kids were growing up. The kids knew me. That's what I did. But for me, it's always been an escape. It made this article really kind of hit home just with some of the things it explains. There was a point where, like most sim racers, you're chasing every lap. You're chasing the perfect lap. You're looking for that 10th. You're looking for this. You're looking for that. I'm just not there anymore. I enjoy to get on the rig. It's a way for me to escape, you know, uh, all the stress of work, all the other stuff. When I jump in the rig and I get in a race, I don't think about that stuff for 45 minutes or an hour and a half, or if it's Martinsville, it's 3 hours, whatever it is, I can put all that stuff aside. I don't even have to think about it. For me, that's the beauty of sim racing, and I think it's one of those hobbies that I find myself being able to even disconnect more from the average daily stuff because I'm focused strictly on what's going on in front of me. For years I played golf with my son, and I enjoy golf, but there's a long walk in between holes, and you still think about stuff. You still do stuff. I got into running for quite a while, and running was great, but my brain never shut off when I ran. Chad probably can say the same thing. You get on a bike, the best conversations I ever had with myself, I would work through my entire day while I was running. But when I get on the rig, I don't think about any of that stuff. For an hour, I'm not worrying about a P&L. I'm not worrying about the 60 employees I have. I'm not worried about any of that stuff. All I'm worried about is trying to turn consistent laps and be competitive.
Yeah, what a great hobby it is because of how it really does force you to disconnect. I mean, you can't be thinking about work. You got to focus on that apex. You got to focus on staying on that guy's bumper. You can't that kind of mental, you have to be up on the wheel mentally, as they say, really makes your brain disconnect from the rest of your life. And it is a great break. And yeah, this is a great article. It kind of describes why we do this. Look, it's a habit. It's like, what else am I going to do? I'm going to sit down and watch TV? No, I'm not going to watch TV. I'm going to go sim race.
The thing I loved about that article was that it really focused on the experience, not the outcome. We always talk about iRating and safety and gaining points and cutting time and all that stuff, but that was just the essence of, I think, motorsports and driving to a degree, of just you and the machine and getting everything you can out of it.
Spot on. And my wife, the struggle for her is, she'll see me come upstairs and I've had a bad race and I'm aggravated, and she's like, why do you do something that aggravates you? And I'm like, well, yes, I'm aggravated, but it's okay. I mean, I'm fine. I'll be cool. I'll cool down in 20 minutes. I'm fine. But the aggravation is because for that hour or a half or whatever it was, I was in a race car, and I was being competitive, and I was doing what I enjoy doing. And did it end badly? Yes, but hey, there's always the reset button, and we get to do it again.
I always say, look, if it was easy, nobody would do it. If it didn't make you mad, you wouldn't be happy when you win. It's like it's yin and yang. It really is a yin yang, and there's two sides of it. Like the ABC Wide World of Sports slogan. What was that back in the day? The agony of defeat. The thrill of victory, the agony of defeat.
Yeah, I mean, every race somebody's going to win.
That's right. Might be you, Tony.
Someday.
All right. Really enjoyed getting to have Jorge on the show last week. Don't forget the Sim Gaming Expo is coming up September 18th through the 20th in Schaumburg, Illinois. You can get your tickets now at a discounted price. What is it? SGE 15 is the code, right?
Yep.
We got some exhibitors coming in. I'm going to rip through these a little bit quickly. We got Dad's Racing Services. That's kind of funny considering the article we just covered. And they're featuring, I guess, a software package that they call Grid Magic. We also have KCA Sim Technologies coming. And title sponsor Simcraft. I'll look forward to seeing those guys there. I enjoyed their rigs. It wasn't quite the same level as that Driven Dynamics one, but they were still really, really top level.
So title sponsor on that one, David. That's a big deal for Jorge.
Yeah, and them for sure. Isn't SimLab at the same level?
Not the
Or SimuCube?
I think SimLab's a premier sponsor, silver
He's
sponsor.
got different levels. Yeah, he said this is the
Oh,
first time he's had a title sponsor.
Yeah, it's literally Sim Gaming Expo presented by Simcraft.
Right.
Yeah, he alluded to it last week on the show. That he had a couple of big announcements coming.
Project SimStar. I guess I'm
Love
guessing
this
he's a
guy.
streamer.
I can't wait to meet him. Have you guys seen his streams and stuff? Yeah, he plays some kind of star game. You're in a spaceship flying around, and he's got a nice little motion rig.
Is that the game that we were chatting with? Is it Mark?
I think it is. It's Star something.
What was
Star Citizen would be my guess.
Yeah, it's Star Citizen.
Yeah,
that was the one we were talking to Mark about, David.
So this guy wears a little uniform too when he races or when he flies or whatever you want to call it. But he's got a little hat and everything. It's cute.
Then we have Red and
Don't say
Water.
cute, Mike. Don't say cute, Mike. That's not...
Oh, that's the real reason Tony's here. He's just collecting all of his sound bites live.
Yep.
I think Mike looks cute on his streams and in his little hat.
Another special guest is Bread and Watered. I'm guessing he either couldn't get bread and water or he just can't spell, one of the two. Yeah, it's pretty intentionally misspelled, obviously. And then Sim, I can't read that. That's
Simgasm.
Okay.
Mike or David, before you go, that bread and water, Watard. He's a girl dad, race enthusiast, and owns a rigs that cost more than therapy.
Hey, that sounds like all of us.
It's all of us.
And yeah, if you read it, I didn't realize it until I heard you pronounce it. But yeah, if you say, you could twist that several different ways: bread and watered, or bread and watered. Like that could be intentional or not. Yeah, the next one I just couldn't read that font. It made my head explode. So they'll be there too, and no pun intended as well on my head exploding. SemiCube is, I guess, finally officially on the list.
Hey. Look, I'm happy about seeing SimiCube because every opportunity I get to run those active pedals, I just want to try them again just to have that comparison to my Moza.
Just to prove
Are
that
they-
you get what you pay
Well,
for.
just to prove that I spent my money wisely, didn't have to burn it.
So not to prove that you get what you pay for.
Are they still vibrating when you get out of the rig?
They do throb, yeah, when you get out of the rig. Yeah.
Oh no, did he not?
But look, I figured it out finally. If you turn off the motor vibration effect, they stop throbbing.
Another thing you could actually do a long time ago, Bobby showed us this things. You can get extension cords with a little button that you push, turns it on and off, and you could just plug the bass into that and just turn it off when you're not racing. All right, the Watkins Glen 6 hours coming up. I know me and Tom are going to run this in the new BMW. I've run a few IMSA races in it. It doesn't feel that different.
Yeah, Westbrook and I are running just the two of us. So
It's the 5 start times instead of the 4 stop times. There are balance of powers in effect. I have not looked at the forecast. Have you looked at the forecast?
yep, it's we'll probably end in rain. So it starts very low and then just continues to creep up as the day goes on.
And the IMSA races have all been dry, so we're gonna have to. Though I've gotten better at adapting to a wet track just because I've had enough practice in any wet. But it'll be interesting. I kind of like it because a lot of guys just cannot handle it at all.
Just depends on the volume of rain as usual.
And we're keeping this one on the schedule as well. This is the one I sent to you, right? The Firecracker Summer Classic.
Yep.
Saturday
So
the 11th, 80 laps, cash purse, $10 entry, and it's all going to charity. Isn't it the same charity that we've worked with? The dogs, the vet dogs?
No, this
No, that
Go ahead, Tony.
I say we worked with Project K9 Hero.
yeah. So this is Headstrong Project, which provides completely free, confidential, and barrier-free mental health care to military veterans and service members and their families.
Okay, that
Yeah,
must have
get
been where,
involved.
where I got it conflated. Was a veteran, still veteran related?
There's a link to a sign up sheet here, guys, on the script.
Okay. Is this next one real, or is this one of the AI things we were kept posting in chat all day?
No, I think Chris or Bobby said this was a deal that the track themselves were putting on. New Smyrna Speedway is putting on a iRacing competition, and you have to register now. The series closes Tuesday. I guess we missed the close of that, but they have a schedule coming up. It says secure your spot on the grid. I don't know if they still are taking openings or not, but if you want to race with New Smyrna Speedway, you can get involved in their little league.
At least we now know that Mike doesn't only mispronounce non-American names. Smyrna.
Smyrna.
Do Smyrna.
Wasn't it Greg that couldn't say Celica?
Silica.
Salika, that's the Canadian pronunciation.
Just
There
a blank
was-
stare. That's all he's got is a blank stare.
So David, you alluded to some AI slop we saw this week in Facebook of people putting in, hey, we're opening a sim racing league for atheists. Oh, and this one is a sim racing league for Catholics. Oh, this one's a sim racing league for, what were some of the other ones?
If you could think of the religion, they did it.
Yeah, they had
It's-
all the religions. They had all these different groups. Yeah, it was, people were picking up on it. It was like almost a trend, but yeah, we decided not to put it on the script.
But what we do have on the script is This Week in iRacing. What do we miss, Brad?
As we said, we got the 6 hours. The Glen NIS series is at Coronado. DTM is back this week, so we're gonna have week 3 of 8. They will be at Spa. IndyCar iRacing series is back in swing. Week 10 of 17, they'll be at Road America, and then we've got the Sprint Dirt Car along with the Dirt Super Late Model as well.
Podcast housekeeping, leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform to make it easier for more listeners to find the podcast. Do mention the podcast to your fellow drivers so they don't miss out. We would appreciate it. Check out our Discord and get involved in the discussion. Lots of stuff going on over there. And of course, our show notes are at iRacersLounge.com where you can get all those links. We're in regular rotation at Performance Motorsports Network, and get your merchandise at iRacersLounge.shop.
Brad, did we at least have a surprise winner in our league?
Fat Man Little Coat took the win at Pocono. Followed second was Canadian. We had Redneck Racer 80, Connor Truman, and Boats and Hose all tied for third.
Three-way tie. Wow. Well, Pocono, what'd you think? It was same. Look, I said in our group chat, this is the first NASCAR race that there's not like an ongoing back and forth chat through the entire event. Right at the end of the race, I threw something in there about it, but throughout the entire event, nobody in our group said anything about the race. So was it truly NAPCAR or?
I wasn't
It's
even
Pocono.
watching.
It's Pocono. I mean, Pocono's Pocono. That's what Pocono is. It comes down to fuel mileage every single time. You know, look, the Xfinity race was somewhat of a crap show with a bunch of yellows, but the Cup guys are good. They know what they're doing. You know, it's all track position, and not much different from what we felt at NIS last week. I mean, where you started it was hard to pass. So it's Pocono. I'm glad we only go there once now.
Yeah,
one of those
kudos to
tracks
that.
It's one of those tracks that's fun to drive, but it's horrible to watch.
Do you
I don't
remember
know.
when
This week it wasn't fun to drive either.
we used to be what 6 weeks between Pocono races? Like we'd go to the first one, and 6 weeks later we'd be at the second one.
You'd be there June, and it was like 7 weeks in between them, and both of them were 500-mile races, and it was just, oh my gosh.
Yep, it was a Michigan Pocono, then a Pocono Michigan.
And Indy was in there as well in that same stretch.
Yeah, usually August was right around when the original Brickyard and stuff was. So I don't know. So then he gets the win, third win in a row. Four out of 5, 4 wins, 4 out of 5 weeks he's won, I think, something like that. So look, the Toyotas are freaking fast. I mean, we've said that every week. It's what it is. You know, I think the Chevrolets are getting a little bit closer. Ford is just absolutely out to lunch. Now they're talking about waiting on a new body for next year. So, yeah, whatever. I don't know. It's what it is. Hopefully the Chevrolets are going to get it. We'll start to close the gap a little bit. But yeah, every Toyota is running up front. So,
Well, Denny, you know, stack them up. You know, I always say that you win once, it's time to win again and again and again, and get as many as you can. You know, he's trying to get to, you know, as many wins as he can and cement himself in that top 10 of all win list. I think he's 8th now or something. But yeah, I mean, is he really going to quit if he's winning? I mean, he kind of referenced next year as his last year. But if he's winning like he is now, man, I can't see himself stepping out of the car.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, his contract's through 27, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, he's 9th right now with 64 wins alone. So, next one on the list is Earnhardt with 76. So, I don't know if he can get to 76, and he could get close. I think in the next 2, this year and next year. But yeah, I don't know. Look, he's one of the most experienced guys out there. He's extremely methodical. I mean, like him or not, I mean, I watched him race short tracks. You know, I'm from Chesterfield, where Denny's at. So he's a fantastic driver, like him or not. That's what it is. But he's a very intelligent person when it comes behind the wheel, and he puts an entire race together and can continue to get better as the race goes on, and that's what a lot of guys just can't do.
So scenario, Denny wins the championship this year. Would he park it and not race next year if he could win it?
No, he said he wouldn't. They've made too many commitments. Sponsors have already signed on, for 27 for him to be in the car. So
I'd say he'll do his usual choke in October and November.
We'll see.
Has he
But this-
pissed anybody off yet? Usually he gets in a feud at some point in the middle of the season here.
No, he's kind of kept himself pretty clean. But look, this format lines up best for him as it is. I mean, it's just what it is. So we'll see.
The thing that hurts all them, they keep getting this further and further lead out. Who cares how far you're out from first and second? It just goes back to 25 and 30 by the time you reset.
Yeah, but 25 points when you only got 10 races to go is actually is pretty good gap. So it's about half a race.
But if it's one win and you're like like out of the top 10, you're back in it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's what's going to make it interesting. So I don't know. I mean, look, for the first time in years, we're looking at points, and I'm happy with that. So
Yeah, according to
been nice.
all the simulations that they ran with their statistics people, you're pretty much you're going to want to be in the top 3, top 6 at best when the chase starts, or you're just highly unlikely. Yeah, highly unlikely, not impossible, but highly unlikely to win.
We'll just see what the
Unless you're Tony Stewart that one year.
No, it still wouldn't matter. Tony Stewart's wouldn't have made a difference in this one. I don't think, if I remember correctly, the sim, it wouldn't have been good enough to win it.
It was good enough to win it without the extra 15 points.
I'm saying if it was further back, like not like he wasn't that far back.
So this week, I mean, if you're betting, you're betting the field versus SVG? Like, I'll take the field over SVG, or I'll pick SVG. I mean, SVG is going to win this race unless he gets wrecked.
yeah, there's no way around that. I just think that's what it is. So they're racing for second place.
Who, the kid? Zilich?
No, the other 37 of them, they're all racing for second place.
Well, what do you think about Zilich? Is he going to be in the top 3, or?
I would agree with all the shows this week. They gotta stop when they go to these road courses thinking that they're gonna win and just finish a damn race.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. I mean, he put a good race together, Watkins Glen, and then just overcooked the tires and ended up blowing a tire. I mean, it's what it is. Flat spotted it, just kept on pushing. So I don't know. Again, I think SVG's is the logical choice. Some of the other guys should have good runs, but like I said, I think it's going to be carnage. All it's going to take is one car to get turned sideways, especially coming through that Red Bull section, and the whole track is blocked. There's nothing you can do.
Does this mean Mike's going to buy a nice silver Red Bull car?
We'll see.
Well, we'll see. See if they actually. I mean, I guess they will do diecast. Was it Monster that doesn't do diecast?
Yep.
So, all right. So heading out of Pocono overall, we've got in the lead with 3,504 points. Redneck Racer 80. Connor Truman second. Cletus 45 is third. Fourth, Kid Adrian fifth. Dollar cents.
Well, in case you haven't heard, we start hardware with Chad McNeese's Ultimate Hardware Spreadsheet. Want to tell us about it, Chad? Oh, wait, you already did in the interview.
It's a thing. It's got stuff in it.
So I see you added SimiCube Ultimate 3, which just was pretty much came out, right?
Yeah, that's actually been in there for a while. We knew the price and all that stuff was debuted like 2 or 3 months ago, so I had that all in there, along with some other silly ones. But yeah, the sim labs and stuff are in there too as placeholders for the little bit of info we got on them too.
So do you
That's
already have a
nice.
placeholder for the Phoenix, which is our first hardware topic?
I haven't added that one yet, but I need to. It looks like a cool wheel.
Yeah, each week we seem to get another little shot of this. So now we've got a shot that's on the got an Instagram post just showing the right side, the back of the wheel. So don't know much yet. I have seen what I think. I think I said last week I have seen a shot of the wheel, and I'm not super enthusiastic about the layout, but we'll see.
I like that button on the top back of it. There's a little push button up there.
Yeah, my grid has that, which is nice.
All right. Load cells are done is what the what we see first from Gray's Dynamics. And the question Brad put in the notes is change sim racing forever. So tell us a little bit about this one.
So this is we got a video from Gray's Dynamics. We talked about these the week after the expo. So William and I had a chance to actually turn some laps on these. So these are SRP GTS pneumatic pedals. They're out of Spain, is where they're from. Had seen these for years and had never had a chance to actually try them. But got to try them at the expo. They felt good. A different way of doing things. We've got load cells, we've got hydraulics. This is pneumatic, so felt good. The problem, like we shared, I think the week after the expo, is most of the stuff that's at the expos is tuned. Pedals are tuned very soft. You don't get a whole lot of there's a lot of throw, a lot of travel in them, but they did feel good. I think you could get these things tuned down pretty good. From a price standpoint, full set with base plate and everything, you're looking at about $1,400 US. So these are not entry level pedals. They're high end pedals. So a lot of adjustability in them. The guy was showing us that as well. The only thing I didn't like is you cannot adjust the pedal faces, which is odd to me. That's one thing I think every set of pedals you need to be able to adjust the pedal faces. So because depending on how your seating position is, it's going to dictate how your foot hits that pedal. Kind of goes through some of the software overviews and stuff. When we got in the rig, the guy took and adjusted the brake pedal. We recalibrated it each time for both of us. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Some pros and cons. Again, pneumatic consistency. He says it's unmatched, incredibly smooth. Like I said, the con, there's no faceplate tilt. There's VR overlay and software, which is good. You've got embossed logos on the CNC machine. Plates do have sharp edges. I'm a shoe guy anyway, so it wouldn't bother me. But again, expensive. They are not cheap, so you're looking at a very large investment. But I think you're getting a high quality product out of it.
The pneumatic, I don't know a lot about. It just says compressed air cylinder. Like, does that leak or does it wear out or does something that, long term, is there maintenance of some kind? I mean, no, I know with hydraulics, sometimes you have to, put fluid in it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always a chance of something going wrong. Pneumatics. We use pneumatics in most of our equipment, in my production facility, and everything's air driven anyway. So pneumatics are a normal thing that we use. Reliability, I think, is pretty good. We don't have a whole lot of issues, and I've got machines that are, running 8 hours a day and thousands of cycles, an hour. So,
What's their source of air pressure though? Do they have to be replenished? Because but air brakes on a bus runs off a pump, right? Off a compressor.
yeah, no, I mean, it's not there's no air tank. I mean, you're using, I don't know. Again, it was hard to really, at the expo, these guys are trying to tell you about it, and it's hard to walk through all of it. So I'm sure there's some more reviews out here on these. Ray was at the expo, so I know he was on there. I saw him trying them. So maybe we'll dig a little bit deeper into that.
I say, is it pretty much like an air shock?
Yeah.
All right, Mike, I got to throw this one at you, though I saw it as well. It's pretty much an unboxing video, right?
Yeah, we got Sarah Nochi doing a Mercedes F1 cockpit by SimLab with some Vero motion as well bolted onto it. And she goes through the process, unboxing, building, challenges she had, this and that with it. Look, the cockpit itself, very high end. It's got all the latest SimLab stuff. It's, as far as like the way the hardware connects and different things. It's got, of course, the AMG Petronas Formula One team logo, not only along the side of the cockpit, but on the seat itself, embroidered. The uprights are slanted, and this is a Formula style cockpit, not GT. I'm not a fan of slanted uprights, but they may be the right fit for a Formula cockpit. I don't know.
Again, I would say Formula Cockpit. You're not going to be able to convert this into a GT style.
Can't imagine trying to get out of that thing.
I'm too old for that.
Well, look, let me throw this out. Are there racers out there that only run Formula? I mean, most iRacers I know are jumping around car to car and doing different things. Why do you want to limit yourself like this?
For the
That-
guys that just want to run the F1 games.
Yeah, if that's your discipline. I mean, if you're using this for training, if you're in a single seater, then I don't have an issue with it.
Even some prototype setups sit pretty low like that too.
Actually, pretty much all the LMPs do, and GTPs they are really low to the ground. There was a picture from Le Mans with the Cup car sitting in the whole pack, like a grid picture, and it's literally twice as tall as the prototypes.
She did a little comparing of the Vero motion to the Cubic she had on her other rig. It's much smaller footprint size wise. Um, and I think the delay was much better too. But yeah, when she compared the two, the Cubic, it kind of gave the Cubic a bad look compared to the Vero. But the Vero motion, well, that is something that's been real popular over the last year or so.
We've got a quick hit on Instagram, not a whole lot of in-depth to talk about it, but we've been covering things along these lines. The Lexmark manager says that RAM prices will double by the end of the year.
Yeah, iPhone's also going to cost more this fall when you buy an iPhone 18 Pro or Pro Max. Tim Cook came out this week and said there will be a price increase from what people are used to paying, and it'll be because of RAM.
This is not going to just affect computers and cell phones. Think about how many chips are in your car. Think about every device that has chips in it. It's going to make everything go up.
So I think I put this in our chat and said let's spend Brad's money now, so he doesn't have to spend more money later.
Yeah, I would like to do a PC upgrade at the end of the year, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I was actually thinking about that today. I was like, well, maybe I could just live with this for another year or two.
It's literally says RAM will double by the end of the year. So you're going to pay double if you wait.
Yeah, but I don't want to pay now.
I got this one, David, because
Yeah,
this one's
it's kind of
exciting.
related. Well, it's also kind of related.
Well, it's the NVIDIA CEO guy, Jensen, and he shows off this new series of computers, including a DGX station for Windows. It runs everything, 768 gigabyte memory, a trillion parameter model, 20 petaflops, 8 terabytes of bandwidth, perfect for LLM and agent developers. Now, here's my question to the group. Can we run iRacing on this?
It's not optimized for it.
We making up words. What's a petaflop?
It's how many communication
Data transfer rate.
It's a speed of calculation. It's a speed of calculation.
Now, look, if you look at the video, he puts his hand on a nice looking desktop computer there, and he's saying, like, look, this is everything that a developer needs, in this one box. And it's running Windows 11, but he's not using an AMD chip. He's not using an Intel chip. He's using an NVIDIA chip to run the operating system.
Well, the NVIDIA chip doesn't, or AMD, well, I don't know about AMD, but the NVIDIA, the video card doesn't run the chip anyway, right? But video cards are they've just found out that the video card infrastructure is better for AI training. That's why it's become so popular. So it'll be great for programming iRacing, perhaps, but I don't think it's going to be I don't. It's not going to have the graphics probably. It's mostly going to be about programming and running exactly what he says. Perfect for large language models.
Well, that's what they're building for, obviously. But I think my point is this is a Windows 11 desktop computer that doesn't use Intel or AMD for the chip. I mean, when have we seen that?
Well, we haven't. I mean, they two of
That's
them have
right.
they've had the market forever.
Right. So what I'm saying is you could have a desktop computer with an NVIDIA chip as a CPU and then drop a 4090 in it or a 5080 in it, and boom, you're playing iRacing. Maybe. I mean, it's still Windows 11, so I think you could do it.
If that CPU is optimized for LLM, though, it's probably
It's probably beefy as
sacrificing,
hell.
or it's sacrificing things that are normally good for CPUs. There is a difference. So I mean, I don't know for sure, but I suspect that a CPU that is optimized for large language model calculations is not going to be as good at some other things. You're going to give and take a little bit. So I could be wrong, but I suspect that it's not going to be optimal for gaming.
Hey, look,
It-
we brought up those Apple goggles on the show, and then one of our listeners got one and tried it. So I'm going to challenge our listeners. Somebody go buy this NVIDIA desktop computer and see if it'll run iRacing.
Holy crap!
I'd say the chip probably runs like a Threadripper, where it's not good for gaming.
All right, Chad. So
Chad, tell us a little bit about this slightly stronger wheelbase that we have, and maybe it's a little more expensive as well.
Just a teensy weensy a little bit. SimiCube 3 Ultimate, they actually dropped the SimiCube 2 Ultimate a long time ago because they weren't selling enough and couldn't justify it, I guess, but they decided to bring it back for the new SC3 line. Will does a really good review, focuses kind of blows past most of the other stuff that they've covered in the SC3 Pro and Sport reviews, focus on the Ultimate and what it offers. Key points are that it's a completely different motor structure. The interior permanent magnet as opposed to the surface permanent magnet, and that just changes what they can do with the motor, how they can run it. They also do this whole, I forget where it is in here, but talking about the virtual deal. They basically scan the motor, check its performance, and then they're running that simultaneously at the same time they're running the real motor, and so they can predict and control it better. It's stuff that is so beyond me that I don't understand at all. But conceptually, it's just a higher performance motor that they can run at very high speeds, and yet keep in control instead of getting overshoots and doing crazy oscillation and things like that. So the special machining and the design there gets the price really high, obviously. And the thing that's kind of interesting for him to come to as a basic conclusion at the end is it's simply not worth it, other than for the few people that absolutely have to have the best. He says the SC3 Pro for the price is every bit as good for the most part for basically everybody, and you just, unless you're really looking for the best of the best of the best, it's almost impossible to justify the Ultimate.
Yeah, it's almost twice the cost of the Pro.
I liked when he talked about his scoring system. He's kind of developed this scoring system for sim wheel bases. And he talked about how at the top of the food chain was a SimiCube 3 Pro and Sport, right above, right near 10. But now that this base has come out, he's got to lower those a bit to make room for it because he believes it's 8% better than the Pro and Sport in overall sharpness and fidelity. Um, and so he gave it like right at a 10, and then he said 92, 8% lower for the Pro. But like you said, Chad, at the end of the day, when you compare price per Newton meter and all these other things, it's just not worth it. You're better off with the Pro.
Yeah, I'm just kind of surprised if the Ultimate did not sell, and I think that was mid twos, I think somewhere around there, probably. Now we're going to take this up to $3,300. I don't know. I hope they haven't made a ton of them.
wasn't there a little talk in there about like it's kind of a different kind of motor? I think Chad, you kind of touched on that than the Pro. It's like a different standard or different type, and that's why they can get that extra 8% out.
Yeah, they changed the structure where the permanent magnets are located as opposed to the exterior, the rotor shape versus the inside. And it's just a matter of how quick they can control it, the power they can apply, and what they can do for moving it one direction, reversing it. Apparently, just the way that it can function is superior in terms of speed. And then they can apply that in different ways to give that extra layer of fidelity that Will is feeling.
But at the same time, the uses the same 23-bit encoder and has the same external control modules that the SC3 Sport and Pro have as well. So just different motor, but your module and your encoder is still the same.
Yeah, he hit on that being the fact that it's a more efficient motor design, similar to what they do in the EVs. And apparently, because of that, they can use the same power supply, same power demand, but they get more out of it.
That's nice that you don't have this monster power supply. It's literally the same one that's in the lineup.
Mike, is this your next seat?
I don't know if it is, but I like the idea of a cool seat. I have two monster fans that just blow right on my face when I race, and I'm still come away sweating. So, um, this is a nice cool seat from Next Level Racing, and what they've done is they took their ES1 seat, which frankly I'm not really a fan of. It's kind of a hard plastic looking kind of bucket seat. They basically have added a cool system into that, consisting of fans, I believe. It doesn't say specifically in the first post, but yeah, I do believe there's fans. It's rated at $599 US with free shipping.
I'm good.
See, that free shipping might be worth it.
He wants a wind simulator.
I do not want a wind simulator. I have a fan right here and it works fantastic. It doesn't look comfortable. That's my issue.
Yeah, it doesn't. The way it doesn't look like a race seat. I'm worried about it doesn't have a submarine belt hole.
Yeah, I mean, you could fall out of it, Mike.
Right. You got to have those belts.
All right, so we're pushing it tight on time. Is there anything else you want to hit before we roll on? That's really time sensitive.
No, I don't think so.
Then it's results time, Mr. Mike.
Results. Let's go through it. The NASCAR iRacing Series Open Friday. I actually wrecked out early. Now I did win on Wednesday night, so wasn't too worried about wrecking out because of that. David P20.
Yeah, I was just slow. I did have some damage from a restart that could have affected it, but this particular race, I just I could not pass, and I was having trouble even holding people off from passing me either on the outside or inside.
Tony P29.
Oh man, I can actually do my result instead of having you read it. I got wrecked out early. Coming out of turn 3, two guys were on the bottom, and they decided they wanted to make love with each other and put me right in the wall and ended my night early. I was ready for having a good time because that Thursday I had a second. I was ready for a win.
You tell him to get a room.
Should have.
All right, Brad, you got a P big wreck.
Yeah, I was having an okay race. Went into turn 3 and a guy got right on my bumper and ended up, I think, with some of the aero grief. Car snapped loose, tried to save it, and hooked it right into the wall in turn 3. It probably, for me, visually, and it was one of probably the hardest wrecks I think I've ever had. I mean, the hood was up, the quarter panel was flying around. It was bad. So I mean, it was so bad and violent when I hit it. Other drivers were commenting on it right after it happened. So, some of the chatter almost sounded like what the drivers sounded like after the Elliott and Bell wreck in Michigan. It's like, oh my gosh, look at Brad. It was bad. So, yeah, I was a high 30s finish, but just yeah, this car is so unstable. When if you start to lose it, just those low profile tires, you can't save it. It's a horrible snap.
All right, moving on to Sunday Open, NIS Pocono. Joe Owen, who has actually left our team, his last race with us, he got a nice P2. And then David, you got a P11.
Yeah, and I did it by basically just being hard to pass. You pit, be the first to pit last, and just held on to positions as we went and avoided a few accidents. This is definitely not one of my strongest tracks this year.
All right. And I ran the fixed NIS Open Sunday night, wrecked out at the very end. I actually was running an alternate fuel strategy. I was going to pit it under green with 36 to go with one other guy behind me. Right after we did that, the caution came out. So we did cycle up to the front, got my track position. But then I had a guy come across my nose and give me slight damage. From there, I faded back to 11th before I got destroyed and tried to limp it home, got destroyed again in other two subsequent cautions. Never finished actually the race. Moving on to Wednesday Open Coronado, Tony P24.
Oh boy, I was kind of excited for this one. I'm not excited for road courses at all, especially in the next gen, but did a bunch of practice and made it through pretty much half a lap, no issue, and then overdrove it and right in the red ball wall. Did that about 3 times, and I was like, nope, I'm done.
All right. Chris Waldron got a P2 almost. David, you got a P5.
Yeah, like we talked about it before, I just ran conservative. I had run a lot of practice laps and one A Open that I did wreck out of on my own, and I just tried to stay within the limits. And I got to know the track well enough just to get through it. One little thing I did do that picked it up, that made it a little bit easier to learn the track, instead of running the racing line like some people might turn on when at least to learn a track, the mini map mode of iRacing's new track map is actually really useful because you can set it to basically follow your direction. So you zoom in and you can see if you're coming up to a left-hand turn or a right-hand turn. So the map is always, it's more like GPS. It's actually follow, you can actually see what's coming up and know which side of the track you need to get up on, and start to recognize is this one of the slow corners or fast corners, and it made learning the track way faster.
Yeah, my run, I started, I think, 15th, slowly worked my way forward. Um, Ended up running 4th at the end. The first 2 guys I would have never caught because they were like literally a second or more faster than me. I probably could have got to 3rd if I had better track position. I didn't qualify well. So I felt like I probably had a podium finish in me, but because of poor track position, I only could get to 4th. So I'll probably try again tomorrow night. And then Brad, you got a P11 top split.
Yeah. So yeah, top split. Anytime we got a road race in NIS, I'm in top split. So nowhere near the speed the other drivers, but I did not wreck as much as they did. So that's the key. The ultimate, just keep it on the track. And when we say that over and over again, if you can keep it on the walls, keep it on the track, you get a good finish. So I had more issues with the second set of tire stacks than anything else. I don't know why. I think downshifting a little bit too early. You almost need to hit second, and then right as you're getting ready to turn in to the corner, downshift to first. But that upset the car quite a bit. But the track is super challenging. I think it's really cool. We've said that as well. But me personally, I think if I had to pick one of the two to go back on the schedule next year, I'd rather go back to Chicago. I did enjoy Chicago Street Course over this. So probably one and done for me this week. I'll take a P11 top split and move on down the road.
All right. And then Chris Waldron ran today and got a P2 again, 2 P2s. I believe he's bottom split too. But Ringmeister start the first night of the season on the Monday night of season 3. Jump in the Ringmeister. It's GT3s, not my favorite. But P1, I get it done. Winner, winner, chicken dinner in the first attempt of the season. I started third. I was able to stay there as the 2 leaders were faster than me. I had no hope. But those guys ended up crashing each other out at the end of the long straight, and I was able to keep on trucking by and get that win. Man, it was so nice to win in the first attempt of the season in that series. And so I really haven't run it much. I ran it one more trying to go for 2 in a row. Started first. The guy got by me quick and drove away, and I ended up with a good battle for second and was able to keep it for a nice P2. So far this week, got a P1 and a P2. Let's talk grassroots racing. Watkins Glen, Brad wrecked out twice.
Yeah, so on the start, never made it through the S's on lap 1. So went into turn 1, and coming out of turn 1, I started, I guess about 12th or so. It was kind of right middle of the pack. The guys ahead of us kind of bobbled a little bit, slowed everybody down. So right as we started coming in the S's, guy was ahead of me. I started to think I could get to his inside, but then I realized the guy behind me was trying to go to my inside, was about ready to take it 3 wide. So I decided to tuck back in, and the guy that was behind me I don't know. He just turned me, and you know, when you wreck in the S's, it's blocked, and everybody just piled in there. So went ahead and used my fast repair. Came out P28, kind of started to try to climb back up. Got up to about P25 and was battling for position in turn 1. Got underneath the guy, but just I got loose up underneath him. Just stuffed it in the Armco. So just not a good night. This was the start of season 8, and not the finish I was looking for, but I never have. I just don't ever have a ton of luck at Watkins Glen, regardless of what the car is. It's just not my favorite course.
All right, other racing I ran last week at week 13, the Coronado race, Gen 7. I think it was a quick 7-lap races. I got first a P5. I hit the wall quite a bit, but still finished. Next up, I started 6th and finished P3. And then finally, I started 2nd. I led some laps, but another guy got me, and I finished P2. So I had some good runs there. Nice P4 in the NIS, of course. All right, let's go to final thoughts. Greg Hectus.
Just looking forward to possibly getting a race, and I did download the update finally. I was talking to Brad about I hadn't even logged into iRacing to download the update, so I finally did that. I'm hoping Sunday morning, maybe tomorrow night. We'll see how it is. It's just late hours and some stuff around the house is just still killing me to be able to do anything else. But it's good to see you guys having fun road racing this week, and the next week too. You're gonna have to road race again.
Okay, Brad Rid, final thought.
I just want to take a second thank Chad for coming on the show. So Chad, I've sent you a message or two, over the last year or so that I see you pop up all over the community, and you're always quick to give people some information, lend a helping hand. I think we need more people like you, and I do appreciate that tremendously. And I thank you for what you do. You're on multiple discords that I'm on. I see you on Facebook groups as well, and somebody's got a problem. I'm pretty confident I'm going to see Chad chime in to try to give a hand. So I just think we need more people like you, and I try to do it as well. I think we all should. I mean, that's the biggest thing about this hobby. It's the community, and it's guys like you that they go the extra mile, And I appreciate you for doing that, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks. Pleasure to be here. And yeah, the whole thing for me is just trying to help anybody else. If I got a little tidbit or something I can help with and get somebody moving forward and enjoying their race, and that's what it's all about. Just having some fun.
Yeah, we'd love to have you keep coming on the show if you're available. All right, and then David Hall, your final thought.
All right, I got a few this time. So kick back and relax. First thing, I did a little follow up on that DGX station for Windows. Um, I asked ChatGPT, ironically, if it'd be good for running iRacing, and it says no. That processor or that system runs on something called a Gray CPU, which is an ARM processor, and it doesn't have an x86 architecture, and so it will confuse the f out of games, essentially.
Oh,
So
that's different than what I thought. Then I was
no,
thinking NVIDIA was providing the CPU in there,
they
but
are
you're
providing the
saying it.
CPU. It is a CPU. It is not an x86 CPU, which
I
games
see.
are built to run on. So there will be compatibility issues. It's basically built to run more efficient communication between the CPU and GPU, but at the same time, software is written to run on an x86 processor, and it's not going to be x86. So I don't foresee it being the best option. Uh, Number two thing I wanted to talk about was, boy, were y'all hating on third party apps last week. Man, I was like, the issues that I had um, were one, yeah, third party apps will have an issue when there's a patch that comes out, or a build. And that was definitely the issue with JRT and sim racing apps. Literally within the day, I messaged Joel with the new problem, and he emailed me a fix to, for it before he even put it out publicly. So but none of that explains the weird thing that was going on with the tires. I don't see how little sim racing apps, which is a tiny little piece of software, was causing that. So, and y'all all run JRT too, but I just felt like we were going a little extreme with got to get rid of all the third party apps. That being said, they put out a fix for for sim racing apps as well, but we haven't talked about it much. But the speeding on pit lane, the tolerance is way different now. Used to, you could sit at about zero point 0.6 to zero point 0.8 over and maintain that and not get a black flag. Now you will, they've made it a lot tighter. And sim racing apps doesn't beep until you're about 0 0.8 over. So I had ditched sim racing apps, but I'm like, I want that sound that tells me I'm speeding. I'm used to reacting to that. So I actually got on Chat GTP and reverse engineered sim racing apps and custom made my own tiny little app that just runs in a tiny little DOS window, or a terminal, some people call it, and it beeps when I want it to, only when I'm entering the pits and in the pits, and otherwise stays out of the way. And it's only a 9 megabyte executable file, and it's working great. It's really handy. And there was a third thing I was going to say, but I forgot.
What a list. Okay. Tony Rochette, final thought.
RIP sim racing apps. It's been a while since I've been on the show, probably over a year and a half, almost 2 years. I need to do a little bit more, hang out with you guys more. Maybe I'll actually win something. But other than that, San Diego has been a fun track. I don't say that about road courses, or especially street courses. I'm not a fan of road courses with the next gen car. I did practice with it in the truck and the Xfinity car, and it's fun as hell. Yeah, should be a fun weekend. Next weekend, the sandy hills of Sonoma. Yay!
All right. Chad McNeese, our special guest, your final thought.
Just appreciate being on the show. It's been kind of fun to, listen to you guys just about every Friday morning when I get to work, and throw that on in the background and have something fun to listen to heading into the weekend. For myself, I need to try and get in some more driving. Last couple of months have been a little busy with some family stuff, but I'm gonna try and sneak in some races. And my big one this week, Mike, is FR 500S Mustang at Ringmeister. So
Ooh.
I think I'm gonna be there.
I'll see you on the track. Yes.
So that maybe
Yeah.
get in some ARCA race and try and get that one done, and then maybe try and get one oval and one road race done every week if I can here for a while.
All right. My final thoughts. We secured 500 business cards for the iRacers Lounge podcast to hand out at the Sim Gaming Expo. And if you're listening and you want one, you walk up to me and ask for one, I'll hand it out. Now, we don't have enough to hand out to everybody. The idea is we're going to hand it out to potential sponsors who want to contact us and give us money. So if you're a potential sponsor, make sure to get my business card.
Or potential sponsor or potential guests as well, other content creators and such.
Yeah, anyone we would need to interface with, right?
And don't let that sound like begging.
The business cards came out real nice. Got a QR code on the back and all that. Glossy, multicolor, the whole thing. We're also going to do 4x6 photos that have some kind of logo or something on them that we can hand out as well for people. So you have something to walk away with. And I think we're going to have candy in a dish so you can come by and have some chocolate.
We might bring a coffee maker too.
Well, we have to be careful with that because we don't want to mess up Jorge's catering contract with the hotel.
Let's say if you run out of business cards and 4x4s, they can hug you, right?
Well, I'll shake their hand, or they can buy me a beer. Look, I had to reinstall Windows recently. Started over from scratch. It's kind of refreshing in a way because I reconfigure everything, reload everything, make it all right. But where I'm lagging is my Stream Deck. I have yet to program all the buttons on my Stream Deck. It's such a tedious process. And then I was looking at the plugins and should I maybe use those? And man, I'm just lagging with my Stream Deck. And so if anyone has any quick solutions, hit me up. Other thing was I'm missing from my Windows reinstall is my Donald J. Trump spotter pack. And guess what? Tony, good old Tony here, put it on the drive, but I can't seem to make it work, Tony. I've unzipped it, I put it in the right folder, I hit the little drop down in the game, and it's not there to click on.
It's probably best not to run it, especially if you stream.
I think iRacing blacklisted it. I literally cannot make it work. And the original source of it, a guy named Puck Vanek on Twitter, he's removed the post completely and the links to his drive where he originally put it up. He's deleted all of it. So I don't know if I'll ever have my Donald Trump spotter pack again, but man, if anybody got a solution for that, let me know. And with that, we'll see you on the track later. Okay.